Yo canto por no llorar, pero mañana de nochecita la salgo a buscar. Hola, ¿qué tal? Buenas tardes, amigos, amigas de la Diáspora 503. Gracias por estar en sintonía de una nueva transmisión en vivo. Es en esta oportunidad desde el interior del Palacio Nacional, en donde, tal como ya observaron y está titulada esta emisión, participo del evento Bitcoin Histórico 2025. Así es que, antes que nada, quiero darles la bienvenida. Son las 3:58 de la tarde. A todas las personas que están dentro y fuera del país, muchísimas gracias por su amabilidad de estar en sintonía de esta transmisión en vivo. Espero que sea de su entero interés y, por supuesto, les invito a que por favor participen con sus puntos de vista, siempre y cuando sean respetuosos al momento de hacerlo. Participen. ¿Qué opinan acerca del Bitcoin? ¿Lo han utilizado? ¿No lo han utilizado? ¿Han visto mis transmisiones anteriores? Si no lo han hecho, les invito a que vayan a mis perfiles para que revisen las distintas informaciones que he compartido con ustedes, porque es importante el Bitcoin, porque es necesario que conozcas por lo menos lo esencial y lo fundamental acerca de este criptoactivo. ¿Qué son los criptoactivos? ¿Cómo impactan nuestra vida como salvadoreños? ¿Y cuál es la proyección que hay en la industria hacia el final de esta década de cara a 2030? Hay mucho que hablar del Bitcoin y también trato de aclarar muchas ideas satanizadas que por desconocimiento, ya sea la oposición o las personas que simple y sencillamente están descontentas con el desarrollo de este tipo de proyectos, país que nos marcan como sociedad global, no solamente salvadoreña, pues lo pueden observar en las transmisiones en vivo que hice en días anteriores. También quiero invitarte a que por favor me ayudes a compartir esta transmisión en vivo con más personas, a que les interese el tema, que de repente en algún momento lo hayan mencionado y consideres que puede serle de interés. Te invito a que por favor compartas esta transmisión en vivo. Estoy tanto en TikTok como en YouTube, por si la otra plataforma es de tu agrado sintonizar los contenidos. Y por supuesto quiero pedirte tu enorme apoyo para alcanzar el objetivo de regalo de esta transmisión en vivo. Así es que sean todos muy bienvenidos y estamos ya en el interior del Palacio Nacional para dar seguimiento a este importante evento. Quiero saludar a todas las personas que ya se conectaron, a Lady Irene, gracias por tu apoyo, querida Lady Irene, también a Lady Irene, ahí está también, vamos a ver quién más, a Sisu, gracias querido o querida Sisu, muy amable. Oscar Sánchez dice, Sisu dice, poco lo utilizo. Bueno, pero ese es un buen inicio, porque miren, recuerden la curva de aprendizaje que tuvimos que emplear para transicionar de la telefonía fija o la telefonía de casa o la telefonía en la calle los que fuimos a Antel, allá por 1900, ya no me acuerdo, que teníamos que ir a una caseta telefónica para poder hablar. Los hermanos salvadoreños que migraron expulsados, vomitados por la guerra civil en El Salvador por culpa de la guerrilla, que salieron vomitados de El Salvador, tenían que gastar una gran cantidad de dinero todos los meses para poder hablar con su papá, con su mamá, con su hijo, y tenías que hablar, pero así en corto, ¿verdad? O sea, en el menor tiempo posible tenías que decir todo lo que podías. Fue una curva de aprendizaje, adaptación, transición, etcétera, etcétera, y el Bitcoin es similar. De repente usted va a decir, no, pero es que se estafa, no, es que chiviaron con los pistos. Pero si usted no tiene fundamentos y es un periquito que solamente repite el mensaje de la oposición y no se ha dado la oportunidad de leer, de explorar, de contrastar, de ir a las fuentes oficiales, se está perdiendo una gran oportunidad de conocer cuáles son las ventajas que tienen los criptoactivos, en especial o en específico, en este caso, acerca del Bitcoin. Y lo más riesgoso de esto es que a medida que vayamos avanzando en la adopción de los criptoactivos, usted se va a quedar relegado, pues, así de fácil, se va a quedar relegado. Por lo cual, es importante informarse al respecto. Saludos para Oscar Sánchez, que se encuentra en Virginia. Se recuerda que cuando en Washington, D.C., me ayudó a votar por Bukele. Yo te ayudé, Oscar Sánchez. Ay, qué bueno, me alegro mucho, querido Oscar Sánchez. Bueno, qué bueno que me recordás de manera positiva y no de manera negativa. Muy amable para servirte. Dice Melvin Díaz, a las 6:30 de la tarde estarán integrantes de RBD, Maite Peroni y Christopher en la Vinaes, dice Melvin Díaz. Gracias, muy amable por el dato, mi querido Melvin Díaz. Gracias por tu apoyo también. Dice Vladimir Ilish Melara, ya con solo que te llames Ilish, ya me dijiste cuál es tu forma de ver la realidad salvadoreña. Entonces, gracias, muy amable, mi querido Illich, por estar comentando en esta transmisión en vivo. Bukele AI, no quiero decir nada, mi querido Bukele AI. No quiero afirmar si va a venir el presidente Bukele, pero mejor me quedo callado, ¿verdad? Gracias por tu apoyo. ¿De qué se trata el evento? Pregunta Jorge Enríquez. Bueno, es acerca de el Bitcoin y cómo incide en los distintos ámbitos de la sociedad: negocios, regulaciones, leyes, inclusión financiera, etcétera, etcétera. Miau, ¿cómo estás? Gracias, saludos para ti. Miau. Pero vos no sos del equipo Rocket. Miau. Gracias, querido Oscar Sánchez, 89 años, dice. Miau. Gracias por participar. Bien. Gracias, Vladimir Ilish Melara. Mi querido Vladi, si no estás de acuerdo con la transmisión y no estás de acuerdo con lo que estoy diciendo, sentite en la libertad, papito, de ir a otra transmisión en vivo. No estás obligado a quedarte. Y por el contrario, puede que no estemos de acuerdo en las cosas que decimos, pero no estás obligado a quedarte. No te puse una pistola en la cabeza para que te quedes. No me estás pagando por decir lo que querés oír. Entonces, Illich, sentite en la libertad de buscar otra transmisión que se adecue a tus expectativas y tu constructo de la sociedad. Querido Jorge, a la orden, con mucho gusto. Sina, querida, preciosa, bienvenida. Gracias por estar en sintonía, gracias por tu apoyo también. Dice, no, Vladimir Ilis, mira, eso va a ser la nueva moneda digital de USA. Sí, porque seguramente no conoce el Dogecoin, el Ethereum, no conoce el Trump Coin. Entiendo que hay un Musk Coin de Elon Musk. Entonces, pero cada quien que viva en su burbuja, ¿verdad? Pues sí, al final, no pueden decir, híjole, pero es que a mí nadie me dijo, ¿verdad? Qué bueno, mi querido Oscar Sánchez, que te pude ayudar y me alegro mucho que te decía, me recordés por esa información. ¡Miau! Gracias, querida. ¡Miau! Y Sina, querida, preciosa, bienvenida. ¡Miau, miau! bien enojado el muchacho de atrás, dice, sí, seguramente no le dieron cafecita, dice, wow, miau, enviaste un increíble, gracias, muy amable querida miau, gracias querida Sina, gracias por todo el apoyo. Alberto Rodríguez, para mí también me da mucho gusto poder compartir con ustedes esta transmisión en vivo, espero que sea de su interés y bueno, que pues aporte a su conocimiento, ¿verdad? Recuerden, es por elección que ustedes ven el contenido, no es por obligación. Así es que siéntanse en la libertad de abandonar la transmisión si no les parece mi contenido o lo que estoy diciendo y todos en paz, ¿verdad? Samuel Muso, ¿cómo estás? Me han dado dando vuelta tu apellido, Samuel, fíjate. Me han dado dando vuelta tu apellido, por como te comenté el otro día, tenía mucho tiempo de no escucharlo y me da mucho gusto volver a saludarte. Por supuesto, miau, es bueno aprender Bitcoin. Aquí en USA va a ser la new money, la nueva moneda, dice. Por supuesto, hacia 2030 el 10% de la población global, de acuerdo con los actores claves de la industria de los criptoactivos, dicen que vamos a estar utilizando ese tipo de métodos transaccionales, de compra, venta, etcétera, etcétera, ¿verdad? Entonces, por eso yo hacía la equiparación entre la curva de aprendizaje que tuvimos en los 80, parte de los 90, cuando papá, mamá, hermano, tía, abuela, abuelo, el esposo, la esposa, el hijo, la hija llamaba desde Estados Unidos y teníamos que ir a Antel para recibir una llamada telefónica. Nos tomó una curva de aprendizaje pasar de los frijolitos, tarjeteros o desechables a los teléfonos de gama media, a los teléfonos de gama alta y bueno, a ver a un viejo panzón, chichudo, peludo como yo, hablando de un montón de cosas a través de una pantalla, imagínate. Y se acuerdan que cuando éramos niños nos decían, no hablen con extraños. Y ustedes están hablando con un extraño, ¿verdad? O el Uber, ¿verdad? O sea, pasamos de la transición de utilizar el taxi amarillo al Uber, al taxi pirata también, ¿no? Nos costó acostumbrarnos, pero yo, por ejemplo, hoy, si no es Uber, no viajo. Si no es Uber, no viajo. Entonces, es una curva de aprendizaje. Como dije, cuando llegue el momento, van a decir, puchica, aquel peludo tenía razón, ¿verdad? Aquel careloco de la diáspora tenía razón. Y va a ser tarde, un poco tarde, pero siempre es un buen tiempo para aprender. Dice, wow, ¿será que anunciarán la construcción de Ciudad Bitcoin? No quiero adelantarme, no quiero decir nada, mi querido Jorge Hernández, no quiero asegurar absolutamente nada y no me quiero comprometer. Se viene, dice Bukele AI. Por el momento, Bitcoin es como la bolsa de valores. Muy pronto será la moneda digital, dice Roger Omar. Miren, yo hacía un símil ayer, los días anteriores hacía un símil. ¿Cuántos de ustedes han acumulado puntos, ya sea en su tarjeta de crédito o en su tarjeta de débito? ¿Y cuántos de ustedes con esos puntos han comprado, han pagado, han obtenido algo a cambio? Puede ser un artículo, hacer compras en el supermercado. Es la primera pregunta. La voy a ampliar. ¿Cuántos de ustedes han viajado en un vuelo pagado con millas de viaje? ¿Cuántos de ustedes han tenido la oportunidad de hacerlo? Yo no viajo mucho en avión, he viajado varias veces en avión, viajé 15 años a Estados Unidos en avión, pero lo último que he hecho es pagar con mis puntos que me genera la tarjeta. Por cada $2 me dan un punto, yo, qué chévere. He llegado a acumular hasta $100, creo yo, y pagar $100 de consumo en el supermercado. Eso no es dinero, pero tiene un valor similar al dinero fiat. ¿Cuál es el dinero fiat? Las monedas, los billetes, ese es dinero fiat. Entonces, el criptoactivo, Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Ethereum, Trumpcoin, Muskcoin, todas esas criptoactivos que están en el market share de los criptoactivos, Es como las aplicaciones de mensajeo, ¿verdad? O sea, vos utilizas Messenger, utilizas WhatsApp, utilizas el chat de TikTok, utilizas Signal, utilizas Telegram. Es decir, hay distintas alternativas. Pero tanto las millas como los puntos que acumula la tarjeta de crédito o la de débito, eso no es dinero, pero tiene un valor similar al dinero. ¿Cuál es la diferencia en el Bitcoin? Que el Bitcoin vos lo podés vender, comprar y lo podés utilizar en un ecosistema muy amplio. El ecosistema de los puntos está restringido a ciertos negocios. No es en todos los negocios. Las millas de vuelo está restringido a ciertas aerolíneas. Es decir, probablemente las distintas aerolíneas tienen el programa de millas de viaje, pero las millas que te genera American Airlines no las puedes utilizar de repente en Spirit, pero tienen su propio ecosistema.
So this is officially, the start of a new era, like Stacy says, this is your Renaissance time. So bienvenido en Salvador. Looks like we're making history once again in the Bitcoin country. Hosting a Bitcoin conference in the National Palace. If you would have told any Bitcoiner 2 or 3 years ago, they would have said that you're crazy. Well, look at us. We're making a difference.
Dan, right. I'm Michael Dawson.
So to officially open our main stage, I'm going to present 2 of the women that embody Salvador's new era. We have Stacy Herbert, the director of the Bitcoin office, the mastermind of all of this. Woo! And we have the ambassador to El Salvador in the U.S. Isabella. Well, thank you for coming out, everybody. Hey, up there. I am the speaker. Welcome to Bitcoin Histórico, and welcome to the new El Salvador, everybody. I think, therefore, I am. These words ultimately ignited the Enlightenment, a single spark of reason and of radical doubt that inevitably reshaped the world simply by shifting mindset. Now, Renaissance 2.0 surges forward on an even bolder truth. You can just do things. No permission needed, no waiting for perfection to magically happen on its own. We can just act, create, build, write code, and watch a new era of human potential unfold. Throughout human history, there have been perhaps a dozen or so epoch-shifting eras. Classical Greece, ancient Rome, the Renaissance, and the Enlightenment, for example. And when I name those eras, you immediately think of the individuals who made them happen. Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Caesar, Cicero, Aurelius, Da Vinci, Michelangelo, Copernicus, Locke, Voltaire, Rousseau. Now, add 3 more names to that pantheon: Satoshi, Finney, and you. This is not just a conference. This is a testament to this extraordinary moment in history. It is a testament to this very moment, right here, right now, inside this beautifully restored National Palace of El Salvador. A a moment when strong men and hard money have created good times in the new El Salvador. And this conference, Bitcoin Histórico, is also importantly a testament to one of the most extraordinary men in history, President Nayib Bukele. For just 6 years has transformed El Salvador from a near failed state to the center of the new renaissance to which the best and brightest from around the world are flocking, including indeed yourselves. This gathering is about more than money. It is about beauty, integrity, and legacy. Look around you. You are surrounded by beauty and by excellence. And this is by design. This was our choice. This is how we do things in the new El Salvador. Because when we speak of Renaissance 2.0, we are talking about a return to first principles. The first Renaissance was ignited by the rediscovery of lost knowledge and the shattering of centralized power over thought. Our Renaissance is ignited by the rediscovery of sound money and the shattering of centralized power over value, property, and individual sovereignty. That integrity is rooted in proof of work. It is a simple, honest, beautiful principle that energy cannot be faked, time cannot be cheated, and value must be earned, not printed. This principle is not just code, it is a moral standard. It is the honest yardstick that will measure the true growth of our civilization in the new El Salvador for the next 5 centuries. Builders, dreamers, and doers, welcome to Bitcoin Histórico. Welcome to the new El Salvador.
Thank you, Stacy. Our foundation started a long time ago. I'm the Bitcoin ambassador, as she runs the Bitcoin office. We've been in a very nice journey since day one. We met each other and we met also Max at the Embassy of El Salvador in the United States. Back then, it was super hard. All the administration was against us and against the decision we made of becoming a Bitcoin country. But as Stacy mentioned, President Nayib Bukele is a brave leader. And he is leading our country to its best momentum. Right now, we are a safe country, but also we're seeking for our economic liberty. Thank you for being here because you are being part of this revolution. I'm also really thankful with Stacy and Max because you believe in us when everybody gave us their back. And also here I can see very familiar faces. They are leadership from our Congress. There's 2 congressmen over here that they made possible the Bitcoin law. So thank you for them. Thank you for being standing side by side with President Nayib Bukele, because it's not easy to make the job only. And he's leading our way, but I'm in Washington, D.C., and I've been traveling around the United States, and we've been in Switzerland, and we've been talking about what's going on here in El Salvador. And I'm truly thankful with you, and especially I'm super proud when companies as NVIDIA told us that Stacy came with this whole plan for our country. And we're surprised to listen that the other governments, they are clueless. They don't know what to do with AI and with, of course, Bitcoin. And to listen from NVIDIA leadership that we are, doing a great job is a big responsibility also for us. So thank you for being here. Thank you, because this stage and this venue hasn't been used since President Bukele sworn in for his 2nd term. So being here is super special. It's the heart of the country where everything started. So welcome to El Salvador and enjoy the Bitcoin journey.
Han hablado entonces la embajadora de El Salvador en Estados Unidos y la directora de la Oficina Nacional de Bitcoin.
Alone in 2025, and every time I come back, I see a huge difference. For starters, when I came in January, I had to pay a tourist tax, like $12, which you can pay in Bitcoin. This time, I wanted to show how deflationary Bitcoin was, so I was ready to pay my tourist tax. And then the guy was like, no, we got rid of that 8 months ago. So that's a huge, like that goes to show how when you adopt Bitcoin, everything is amazing. Now, I'm honored to present the man that is opening the lineup for this historic event. For context, Ricardo Salinas has made it his life mission to end the fiat dark age. Ricardo is the owner of Grupo Salinas, one of the most important companies in all of Mexico. And fun fact, Electra, one of his companies, accepted Bitcoin back in 2021, and I have checked, this year they still accept Bitcoin. He also invented the word gobernícolas, which means government and caveman. So a true visionary, to say the least. Known as Tío Ricky in all of Mexico, he is a freedom advocate and understands what sound money truly is. So please give a massive welcome to the man bringing Bitcoin enlightenment to the masses, Ricardo Salinas.
Bueno, llega el tío Ricky, entonces dueño de Electra y Banco Azteca, y será el primer ponente de la tarde.
Good afternoon, everybody. I feel rather strange speaking in English here in a native Spanish-speaking country in such a beautiful location, which reminds us of glories past. You know what? We used to do business in El Salvador some time ago. I used to have a TV station here. I used to have banks and stores. But we were run out by criminals. Unfortunately, I didn't have the patience to stick around until Nayib Bukele showed up. So this saying that weak men create bad times create strong men, strong men create good times, is very much applicable to El Salvador. It gives me great pleasure to be back here and to see this country completely changed. Completely changed. When you walk out there and see a beautiful library, park, people walking around, they have better security than you can imagine. I wish my country could be like that. Unfortunately, my country's gone the other way. And I want to talk to you all a little bit about where we are today, what we need to do. So I believe it's time for us to choose sides. Are you going to be on the right side or the left side, which is the wrong side? The wrong side is the side of the takers, the parasites, the people who work, the parasites who live off the work of us on the right side. We are the producers, we are the creators, we are free men. And on the left side, the parasites, I love to call them, I can't resist it, zurdos de mierda. That's what they are. It's hard to translate into English, but left-wing shitheads. Yeah. These parasites, these takers, they're slave drivers, they're slave owners, and they're used to having us all as slaves. And I believe that's not nice. I believe that we should all be free men and deal with our fellow men as equal. And apply that famous and beautiful golden rule, which is do unto others as you would do them unto you. I think it's really good politics, right? But no, the guys on the left, on the wrong side, what they do to us is steal from us. And they call that redistribution of wealth. Yeah, sure. They distribute from my pocket to their pocket. And they always use the excuse of doing some good things, you know? Because it wouldn't be nice to just say, well, I'm going to steal from you, and I'm going to put it in my pocket. No, of course, you have to have some kind of excuse, right? So the excuse is, we're going to do all sorts of good jobs, like, you know, giving people scholarships, whatever. But the fact is, the takers take money for themselves. And these parasites, they really breed. They really expand. To the point of actually taking down and killing the host. And that's what's happening in many countries today. You can see that happening in Europe, which is the museum, you know, Europe is a museum. You can go take a vacation and have a good time, but you could never do business in Europe. And the reason I'm bringing all this up is because an integral part of the wrong left is their dependence on fiat and central banks. And you can see where that is taking them, right? Because we are believers in exactly the opposite, the right side. We believe in hard money. It used to be gold and silver. That's how I got brought up as a gold bug. That's why I wrote that book, The Bitcoin Enlightenment. It took a while for me to recognize that Bitcoin is better than gold and silver. But unfortunately, many of my very close family, my brother, my father, they have not come around to recognizing Bitcoin as better money. They still believe gold is the way to go. It's Peter Schiff thing, you know? Totally wrong. It would be comical, you know, if it wouldn't be so depressing to see how wrong these people have been regarding the superiority of Bitcoin over gold. But still, I mean, that doesn't make gold a bad investment compared to what? To fiat. Well, of course, all those left-wing parasites depend on the fiat fraud, which, as you know, is continuous money printing and debasement, and this is a perpetual tax on makers and producers. And you cannot save because every day your saving is being taxed away through the hidden tax, which is inflation, and by the very explicit tax, which is the income tax, the value-added tax, the property tax, and this tax and the other tax and the other tax. So tax and spend based on the fiat fraud. And what this creates, we all know, is either a mild inflation or a hyperinflation. Now, I know all about hyperinflation because when I was growing up, I guess starting my career in the 80s, we had a traumatic event in Mexico where the price of the dollar went from 20 to 1 to 3,000 to 1. So, yes, I know what it means to survive hyperinflation and hyper-debasement. And I'm not about to be caught in that trap again. And it gives me a lot of pause to see so many people that live in the fiat world, specifically in the US, which has been privileged to have the world's reserve currency and has this exorbitant privilege, as the French minister used to say, of printing all the money they want in the world. Well, that's well and good, but it's only good up to a certain point. And as faster people recognize that they're being tricked, the faster it's going to end. And by the way, this is going to have a big effect on El Salvador too, because as you know, this country doesn't have its own currency. It depends, unfortunately, on the American currency, which is being severely debased. So even though El Salvador is on a good track, they could be better if they use Bitcoin as a form of currency. So on the left, we have these fiat fraudsters, and on the right, we have the hard money guys, the gold bugs, where we say, we speak honestly, we say with honesty, we don't take lightly to coin. But this all leads to the same ending, which is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the culmination of us who are makers, producers, free men, and who are on the right side of history. We will move into Bitcoins. And the left-wing parasites will move to no coins. And that's what's happening all over the world. So you guys all here, I assume during the Bitcoin conference, you already have at least more than 50% of the way in terms of convincing yourselves of what is right, and what is true, and what is honest. That's why I would like to say that on this right side, we stand for respect for life, respect for property, respect for liberty, respect for innovation, for competition that brings prosperity. Unfortunately, the damn parasites on the left, they stand for trickery, for lying, for slavery, for expropriation, and finally, for enslavement. And they do all that by relying on the fiat fraud. So that's the situation that I see today. And many people say, well, what should we do? Well, to end up, I would say 3 things. First, the most important thing that you all can do is recognize what this is about. Are you going to be on the right side or the wrong side? That's the most important point, because everything else will come from that. And I congratulate you, because if you're here, you're already closer to the right side. The second thing that I would suggest is you got to choose your jurisdiction. It's not written in stone that you belong to the state where you were born. See, they make us believe that we're slaves and that we belong to the state where we were born. Well, no. You can check out, and you must check out, because there's no reason to be slaves. And here, Max and Stacy certainly checked out. I'll give them a big round for that. And they've done a good job, in leading a lot of people out here, and a great job of advising the president and opening his eyes to the Bitcoin world. So yes, choose your jurisdiction. And don't be confused about where you want to live. Living is one thing, and getting a tax residence is another thing. And having a passport is another thing. It's nothing to do. Just choose your damn jurisdiction wisely, preferably someplace in the Caribbean. Or maybe in Salvador. Now they're working here, huh? They got a territorial system here. So that would be my second advice. And the other very specific advice, I told my daughter and my wife, I said, mortgage your house and buy some Bitcoins. Yeah, because you have 2 assets. You got the hard asset, which is the house, and you get some coins, and you're short fiat. Well, that's a great deal. I know many people love real estate, but real estate is contaminated because a lot of people use it as a hedge against inflation. And they don't use it in its real sense of productivity, like a factory, I don't know, office building, or as a leisure and enjoyment that would be a house. They get confused and they think that real estate has to be for investment purposes. That's a really bad idea. Want to do investment purposes, but buy Bitcoin. So anybody today, anybody can take a mortgage, long-term, fixed rate, and buy Bitcoin. And if you have a mortgage, don't pay it off, buy Bitcoin. So that's a very specific advice that I give to my close family, my daughter, and my wife did the same thing. So I'm on the hook here, it better work out. So, Bitcoin is the road to freedom for all of us. It's the only asset that is not available for confiscation. So I own a bank in Mexico. I also have a bank in Guatemala, another one in Honduras, another one in Panama. We have, I don't know, 22 million people in our bank in Mexico. And any one of those people can have their savings confiscated instantly by our government. Just today, we woke up today. One of our companies, who was in the gaming business, sport betting, had its accounts frozen. We're accused of money laundering. It's just politics. They did that to me because I'm in the political spectrum. And the current regime hates our guns. But they can do that to anybody. So you think you have your money safely in the bank? Better think again. The financial system, all of the banks and all the financial system are tools of the government and tools of the takers and parasites to take your money away. Be careful. Having said that, Bitcoin is freedom. And many people say, well, you know, but it's very expensive, 100,000, and today went down 2%, and you get depressed, this and that. There's just one way for Bitcoin to go, and that's up. And the reason is very simple. The value of Bitcoin as an asset today is $2 trillion. The next asset, NVIDIA, is $5 trillion. Seriously? Would you have all the Bitcoin in exchange for all of NVIDIA? I would trade it like that. So NVIDIA is $5 trillion. All the gold in the world is valued at $27 trillion. Bitcoin is 2. All the stocks in the world, 120. Bitcoin is 2. Bonds, 200. Bitcoin is 2. Real estate, 350. Bitcoin is 2. All the assets in the world, 1,000 trillion. Bitcoin is 2. Where's it going to go? Up. Thank you, buy Bitcoin. Gracias, and have a good time here in El Salvador.
Raise your hand if you have mortgaged your house to buy Bitcoin. Anybody? Hey, we got one hand too! Come on! That's the way! You know, Bitcoin is the future! Bueno, we all need to be more bullish
20 years ago, Nayib Bukele became Prime Minister of the West Bank. Many Palestinians saw this as a moment of hope. However, that quickly faded. Fadi al-Salami witnessed staggering graft and became a leading anti-corruption activist in Palestine.
من أين لك هذا يا أبو مازن؟ من وين مصاريف؟ والشعب كحيان معهوش ياكل، كيف عندك عقارات في تونس، في عمان، في الدوحة، في لندن، في كندا؟ من وين لك هاي الفلوس؟
For speaking out, he faced retribution in the form of smear campaigns, threats, and even assassination attempts. Despite this, Fadi has continued to flourish as a leading voice in Washington across various sectors. His efforts devoted to humanitarian causes have resulted in millions of dollars raised for student scholarships, life-saving surgeries, and families in need all over the world. Today, Fadi has set a new standard for activism through the use of Bitcoin. This innovative method has allowed him to more effectively run humanitarian campaigns by exceeding the limitations of traditional centralized banking. Through Bitcoin, Fadi has bypassed political corruption and successfully lends a helping hand to Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza Strip, notably directly delivering aid, solidifying property rights, and offering financial freedom where it otherwise doesn't exist.
It's an honor to be with all of you and to learn from each and every single one of you. I want to share a small story with you that will hopefully give us an idea of where we are in our times. The story is about a human rights activist from Syria. His name is Michel Kilo. He's a Christian Syrian who was in jail in a solitary confinement cell next to a mother and her child. This activist was asked by the jailer one night to come in and read a bedtime story to a child who's in a solitary confinement with his mother. He said, I walked in and I saw a mother in the corner of the cell.
Don Ricardo, mucho gusto, bienvenido a El Salvador, me llamo Juan José López. Una pregunta nada más, estoy en transmisión en vivo. ¿Usted cree que esta iniciativa del Bitcoin tiene que ir aparejada a la transformación de la seguridad ciudadana, tal como ha hecho el presidente Bukele?
Yo apoyo mucho las acciones del presidente Bukele. Creo que hizo lo primero que es arreglar la seguridad. Eso es lo más importante de todo. Pero lo segundo, para completar la liberación de la gente, es precisamente darle una moneda sólida donde la gente pueda ahorrar y estar segura con sus ahorros y que no se los tiene que perder. Entonces todavía eso tiene que mejorar.
Por supuesto, muchísimas gracias, don Ricardo, muy amable.
La adopción de Bitcoin es un evento importante en la región.
Pues sí, la verdad me queda mucho hacer en El Salvador. Ojalá que en mi país y en otros pudiera haber este tipo de liderazgo que ejerce el presidente Bukele. Porque no solamente arregló la seguridad, sino que además ya puso las bases para hacer una verdadera reforma monetaria que devuelva la capacidad de ahorro y libertad.
Se convierte en un referente para la región.
La verdad sí, así que felicidades a todos los salvadoreños por eso.
Prevé nuevas inversiones en el país, dice usted que
Obviamente, pues bueno, ya estamos viendo muchas compañías y seguramente ahí venimos nosotros. Con permiso, buen día.
Gracias, don Ricardo, bienvenido a El Salvador. Bueno, palabras de Ricardo Salinas Pliego, dueño de Electra, de Banco Azteca, y ya ha confirmado que hay inversiones en el país, pero que además se vienen otras inversiones al territorio nacional. Y bueno, ahí está la pregunta que me pidieron que le hiciera, si está relacionado la seguridad con la implementación del Bitcoin como un proceso de transformación social.
This is basically the difference between people who see their freedom in using Bitcoin and those who have not seen it yet. And how amazing it is that, on my way here, I was looking up just the meaning of the word El Salvador. What does El Salvador mean? And I said, oh, Savior. Wow, that was the word that was used to describe Jesus, right? It's also the first country in the world to adopt Bitcoin as a legal tender. My story with Bitcoin really started out of necessity, not because I wanted to, or I knew even that Bitcoin would offer me a freedom. I launched the largest anti-corruption campaign in the history of the country to find myself at odds with the power and the authority, to find myself debanked on the front page of newspapers, being accused of all kinds of crimes, and then my passport, my personal information, which was asked by the bank that I was banking with, also in those news articles, and if you Google my name, you'll find my passport photo to this day. So my own bank account was weaponized against me because I wanted to speak truth to power. That was my only crime, until I found Bitcoin. And growing up in Palestine, and after I started using Bitcoin, I realized that the fiat system that we are living under is a very effective control mechanism. It is meant to keep you always asking for more, but never going far enough where you could realize your own freedom. You are chained to exactly the powers that be, what they want from you. It is not the blockchain. It is not something that will lead to you having your own financial freedom. We do not have a central bank. We are not allowed to have our own currency. Therefore, we do not control any of the topics that you've discussed. Inflation, financial policy, money supply, these are things we're not even there yet. So I will fast forward to where we are today. In Gaza, 98% of schools are destroyed, 98% of the banking system does not exist anymore. If you have a wallet, if you have a bank account, if you have a salary, there is nowhere to go in order to access your salary. No ATM machines, no cash. So before we know it, we found ourselves using Bitcoin and stablecoin as the only option available to reach people for basic necessities. So you could buy a tent, a mattress, hygienes if you're, if you're child, even simple basic materials. The only way we're able to do this is Bitcoin. So when I look at El Salvador, it is our north, it is our North Star, it is where I hope my people will be. I hope that Palestine will be the second country to adopt Bitcoin, following in the footsteps of El Salvador as a legal tender. I hope these stories will inspire you to continue to do what you are doing. I do believe that what we all have in common, besides our love for Bitcoin and freedom, is our common humanity. I think if we remember it, we win and prosper. And if we forget it, we lose and suffer. And I'm very honored to be amongst those who know that we remember it, we will win, and we will prosper. Thank you so much.
Wow, can we give Fadi a round of applause? Woo! Now since we're all clapping, can we keep clapping for the sponsor, Stone Ridge, who's making this all possible. Give it up, because this is insane. I have yet to be in a stage talking about Bitcoin, this elegant, this bougie, like I even pulled out my heels. You know, I see people looking nice, so this is good, this is good. Our next speaker, most of you know him as the author of The Price of Tomorrow, but I know him as someone who sows what he preaches. He realized that living on the dollar standard meant feeding a broken system. So he dedicated his life to building a better world. Not only by investing in projects that are making a difference, but he's also living on the Bitcoin standard. This man goes out of his way to spend his Bitcoin and support Bitcoin businesses. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jeff Booth, building the future that we want to see.
Thanks so much. I am absolutely honored to be in Bitcoin country. Can we slide up back up? Perfect. So